Yeah, but definitely Dredd 3D because, I think I just had low expectations, the lowest expectations when I went into Dredd 3D, which I also had for Expendables 2, and I got my ass kicked for it. And then Dredd 3, I'm like, when I got Expendables 2, I'm like, I talked to my friend, and my friend's like, did you have a good time? And I'm like, I don't even know. I can't believe I feel this way on the movie. I really did not want to feel that way on the movie. I really didn't. I know people don't believe me. I really, really didn't. I really didn't. I wish it would have blown my dick through my ass, do like a magic trick up my nose. But then I saw Dredd 3D and I went, yeah, that's more like it. That's more like it. That's my kind of movie. That's my kind of, this is a movie that Canon would have made if they had money. If you probably know what I'm talking about. If Canon had money, they would have made Dredd 3D. That's kind of how I thought of it. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's going too much, but sci-fi version of Cobra. But that's why it really, really appealed to me. So that's why Dredd 3D really surprised me. Or it really stuck out in my head. Stood out the most for me. So Dredd 3D, and I was going to say The Tunnel, but that came out in 2011, because The Tunnel, I'm like, I'm tired of these fucking found footage movies. I'm like, wow, I really liked it. I liked the characters. I liked the setting. I liked, I just really liked it. It surprised me. But Dread 3D and The Tunnel. But thank you, McAllister Media Corp. Thank you for your questions. Very, very nice of you to do that. And then 8 questions from LA. ILiveAgain1. He's a very nice guy on here. He's been with me for a while. 1. How would you do Cabin in the Woods type of movie your way and Miles better? Because I know he's not a fan of the movie. Honestly, what I would do is just, if you, honestly, what I would do is I would put in there who you think are the typical black guy, the typical, it'd be a big group of people, so you can have a body count a little bit. So it'd be big group of people, but in the background you'd have the typical black guy, you have a typical nerd guy, and you have a typical slut. But then as the film, things start going on, people get picked off one by one, and then from the background, they come to the foreground. So the typical black guy, he's actually smart. He's normal. He'd be like my friend Michael Keane. Just smart, normal guy, using common sense. Ultimately, he becomes the hero of the movie. The slut? Yeah, she loves sex. We all do. But she uses common sense. She's a fighter. And the nerd? He's he knows his movies, but not to blatantly say them like Scream. This is like that movie with it's like, no, it's just he knows it. He's like, wait, don't do that. It's not a good idea. And then these 3 come to the forefront, and then they're the final ones, and they're using common sense, and they're actually thinking like real people, and that's why they're not being killed. And so the company gets pissed. It's like, they killed all the redneck zombies, okay? Send everything. So they send all monsters. They send fucking vampires. They send werewolves. They send fucking mermen. Fine, you want a unicorn? Find a unicorn. They get a shotgun, they shoot it, take the unicorn off, stab it in a motherfucker's eye. You know, Like, they kill a unicorn, like, what the fuck? And then they're fighting, and then they take the unicorn and tear it off and slam in, like, take the black guy, fuck this, tears it off and slams it into fucking a creature's eyeball. And then it'd be an Assault on Precinct 13, a horror movie version of Assault on Precinct 13. Except in a police station, it's in a cabin in the woods. A horror version of Assault on Precinct 13. Or, kind of like, be more like the movie Feast. Dude, I really like that movie Feast. I think Feast, that's a movie I completely fucking forgot for some reason, but I really love Feast. Like, Feast, wow, that was a really good movie. Practical blood, if you can't do it practical, then fuck it. No CGI. If you can't do it practical, then it's not worth it. And they're using common sense, and they're working together, and you like these people, and it gets to a point where, there's nowhere to go. They have to make a last-ditch effort, and then they get into the compound. And then if you want to have a scene where all three of them are, they have to fight these folks off, and they get machine guns, and they release the monsters, and then you have your zombies and your creatures and all this stuff. And then you have these three people, arm up with shotguns, machine guns, and sort of be like the Dawn of the Dead remake, where they're having to kick some ass. And basically it's an underground version of the Raid Redemption, but with monsters. Where instead of going up, they gotta go down. So all these monsters now coming out of the woodwork, and they're going here and there, and they have to go through, and they have to deal with bad guys, but they also have to deal with creatures, and, they have to go down and go, get out alive. That would be my version, but they wouldn't make that version. But that would be my version of the movie. Just fun. Like, wow, the three people I thought would die, the nerd, the black guy, and the slut, they all lived. And they weren't assholes, and they didn't suck, and they no downbeat ending. you know. But that would be my version. Number 2, what's your favorite comedy from the 80s? From the 80s. That's tough. There's so many. I mean, 3 Men and a Baby, The Golden Child. You know what? I'm going to say The Golden Child is my favorite. Because The Golden Child, I didn't watch that over and over again and laugh my ass off. And it gets so much shit and so much undeserved bullshit. And people talk shit about it all the time. I think that's insanely funny, insanely entertaining, underrated as hell. My brother Oopsie. My sweet brother Oopsie. I see you're busy right now. Come back another time. But I love The Golden Child. Again, I love See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I love, what was it? 3 Men and a Baby. Crocodile Dundee. There's just a lot of movies in the 80s that I really enjoy comedy-wise. Number 3, what is the worst action film I've ever seen in my life? The worst action film? I'll be honest. It's a movie that Joe Bob Briggs did a commentary for. It's called fucking Samurai Cop. That and one that J.R. Bookwalter did, which it's funny because he makes fun of the fucking movie. It is shitty. Guy was part of some six-pack, and he called it a six-pack because you need a six-pack to watch them all. But, oh God, I forget. It wasn't Zombie Cop. It was another movie. Maximum Impact. That's a shitty movie too. Maximum Impact and Samurai Cop. But I only have those movies because the commentaries are funny because they make fun of the movie and shit. But um, really, those are the worst action movies I've seen. Don't believe me? Watch them or don't. Four. What would you like to see if a third sequel ever gets made of The Hills of Ice? I don't know. I mean, I would not want to see Hills of Ice 3 because I think they fucked up. Um, Well, I would not want them to bring back Doug character. Just I have a feeling they just kill him, or he die heroic death. I mean, the collection is rare that they do that, but the movie ended with them getting out of there, and even at the beginning of Hills of Ice Part Two, the remake of Hills of Ice Part Two was not a remake of the original Hills of Ice Part Two. Otherwise, there'd be a dog with a flashback. But at least they said that family got out. So if family got out and told, then they got out alive to tell people. So I just don't think you need to mess with Hills of Ice. Why the fuck do I have a headache? Um, Number 5, what are your feelings about John Woo being interested in doing the Expendables 3? Well, I already answered that before, but he didn't know that. Um, Again, if John Woo would be able to do what the fuck he wants to do, make it R-rated, okay. John Woo, I like to see him a comeback. If he fails, then I'm going to fucking say you failed. But I like to see a comeback. But again, well, like you said there, do you feel Sly would let Woo do what he has to do? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. I think Sly, I know it's your baby. You wrote and directed the first film, but I don't know if he'll let control because he's had a lot of problems where he's, have fought with directors and stuff. I mean, I love the guy, but you hear that a lot, and you hear it enough times in enough movies. It's like, okay, because he's a writer, and it's like, you know, this time just let it go. Again, think about it. Expendables 2. Everyone kept talking like it was Sly who directed it. Like Sly did this and Sly did that. I'm like, what did Simon West do? Was he off in the fucking bathroom the whole movie? Do you think any of the cast members of Expendables will be back for the third time around? Um, yeah. I mean, Terry Crews, Randy Couture, they really don't have much to do. Dolph Lundgren, yeah. Yeah, I think he'll come back because no one else is giving him movies in the theaters. At least this he'll get in the theaters. So Dolph will come back. Jason Statham, maybe. Maybe. I mean, he's doing a lot of action movies, so I don't see why he wouldn't come back. Jet Li, no. I don't think Jet Li will come back. I like to see him come back, but I wouldn't be so, oh well, we don't need Jet Li, we got Jackie Chan. I'm like, okay. But I don't think Jet Li will come back. By any chance, if the new Ninja Turtles film come out and any bad luck turns out to be shit, will that make you enjoy the shitty CGI film? No, it wouldn't. It would not make me enjoy that film because uh, I'd just be depressed. I'm like, they rebooted it once, and I didn't. I thought I liked it, but I grew to dislike it. And then this is the same, but I got there quicker. I'd just be depressed. I'm like, fuck, man. Fuck this shit.